Saints Row the Third, the game with a main menu that is laced with a trap beat, is a meme. It's a shitpost within the gaming industry. Busted graphics, busted mechanics, busted, well, what's not busted within Saints Row 3? I think at some point of development, developers realized that they will never be as great as GTA and gave up, like actually gave up, not only on development of this game, but most likely on their lives as well. If you can't make a character look stunning, make him run naked. Can't make satisfying gunplay, well then give him an orbital strike. In my opinion, these are fantastic game design choices that only came to be after Saints Row quit trying to jack somebody's swag, like GTA for example, and acquired a confidence in themselves. Confidence in your own style is important. That's one of the pillars of swag. You can always try to copy somebody's style, but you will never be able to replicate it on your own without swag. Saints Row dropped the idea of attempting to copy somebody else and decided to make their own decisions, confident decisions, decisions in design. They have acquired their own swag. Prior to Saints Row 3, the only game where you could really run around naked was Saints Row 2. And this idea of nudity is important because all of the games that came after Saints Row 3 can implement that idea, but we know who came up with the sauce. What are some other consequences of acquiring your own swag? Well, let's take a look at Saints Row 3's storyline. GTA has its own handful of pimps, but I would like to introduce you to an absolute swagger of a black man. There's a reason that typing in Saints Row 3 Autotune in Google search engine will actually give you a result with a name of a character that uses Autotune in order to speak in game. I guess you can say he walks with a stick because he's pimping, but the stick also doubles as a microphone. And yes, he uses Autotune all of the time, and even when he's talking to you on the phone or through a radio channel. I got my people out watching the corners, letting me know where the bitches are. I don't know what type of missions do you expect from a pimp, but let me just name some of them. Hoe traffic, pimps up, hoes down, and of course the hoe boat. I know what you're thinking, the amount of swag here is tremendous. Now it's Saints Row that's becoming something that GTA would want to copy. But a Rockstar would never make such a decision because Rockstar knows that you cannot steal somebody's swag. And here I'm referring to Rockstar specifically, because other game companies would try it. However, they will inevitably fail because the company would spend months, if not years, trying to replicate this type of character mission relationships. In Saints Row 3, it was most likely written within a day. This game feels like it was made on somebody's last day at the office. It's like a pencil sketch of a skull that was left behind in class by one of the students. One thing that's in common if it's your last day at the office or if you are teenage youth is that you are the highest in the room. And playing through Saints Row 3, it's almost like this entire game was conceived of, written, and programmed in the same day by the person that was the highest in the room. Because if we actually take a look at this mission selection, it's so fucking retarded that it's actually good. In no other game you would be able to ride around with a tiger in order to keep the tiger happy. This is absolute cinema. There's also a mission with a pimp where you have to rescue him from being sexually abused, which I respect. And there's also a chase sequence where he pulls you around in a carriage while you're being chased by other carriages that explode on bullet impacts, which I also respect, because this is a huge middle finger to the entire game dev industry. Rockstar game devs could make something like this, but they will be forced to make non-explosive carriages in the name of realism. In other words, you could replicate the structure of Saints Row 3 in your own game, but how are you gonna replicate the fact that these missions play out the way they do based on the fact that Saints Row 3 itself is broken? And how about the fact that you can actually play this game co-op? Believe it or not, it's some sort of a novel idea. Very few games nowadays let you co-op the entire campaign. That means that the campaign also has to be optimized for the co-op gameplay, which is something that Saints Row 3 devs don't even care about. Do co-op missions really have to be optimized in order to factor in more players? Says who? However, what these missions do is make the game even more retarded, because remember the mission I mentioned to you about the tiger? Well, if you're playing with your body will be forced to pet the tiger, or otherwise the tiger would slash you in the face. I see where the creativity went. Here's something else that Saints Row can do that no other game can, is to dress up a 8-foot Russian man as a transvestite and cage him in somebody's basement. You probably thought that I would mention some groundbreaking game tech. Well, here's a game tech for you. You can body slam a pedestrian. No, I'm not saying you can punch him. I'm not saying you can shoot him or run him over with a car. What I'm saying is you can body slam a pedestrian. There is a huge difference there.